Welcome to the Nasboys podcast.
And today's fact, we have this. The farthest a driver has started back and won at Talladega was Chef Gordon. He started 36th and ended up winning the 2000 Die Hard 500 at Talladega. So that's the fact for the week.
But anyways, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. It has been a minute since we've recorded, and I would like to apologize for that. Everybody's been really busy considering school has started back up, and we all have lives. But I am your host, Mike, aka Mike FobFam 101, with my good friend and co-host Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What to do, Nasboys crew?
So today, before we get into the racing, I know again we're a little behind on this, but we here at the Nasboys podcast would like to extend our condolences to Sherry Pollux and her whole family as she passed away a couple weeks ago due to her ovarian cancer. She was 44 years old, which was really sad. She did a lot to try to help with cancer, that type of cancer, and all types of cancer. So it's just very sad and very shocking situation. There was some stuff which we might get into later on for the Clown of the Week segment, but otherwise, I just want to spread my condolences to her family, and all the prayers go to her and to Martin.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. She was a great person, and definitely very sad that she had passed away. But yeah, we'll definitely talk a little bit more. As you mentioned, there's just a lot of controversy about some statements that came out as well after her passing, which we'll discuss. But we got a good bit of topics to talk about today. We got a big show. Plenty of interesting topics and interesting moments as well. So I'm looking forward to discussing some of these things with you and with and for the viewers listening and or tuning in, hearing our thought.
I guess we can kick things off with the Cup race, first race of the round of 12. What did you think of it?
What did you think about it? I thought it was better than usual. I thought Texas was bad. What's going on here? Is it a good track now? Like, people can't make up their minds here, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the better Texas races I've seen since about 2014, maybe 2015. We saw a lot of like three wide action and a lot of issues for drivers. Like we saw Austin Dillon, he hit the wall, he lost a wheel.
Oh, big crash! Turn 3 and 4.
Hard hit for the 3 team.
So the wheel came off of it. You see it, or you saw it bouncing down the racetrack. There it is.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Unbelievable. Oh.
Look at driver's side. The damage to the driver's side of this one for Dillon as the first caution has come out here.
Yeah, we saw pit stop, so it's got to be pretty clear it had something to do with that. This is entering 3, guys. Watch the car behind him, Martin Truex Jr. He's going to go up the racetrack. He sees the problem. Tire wheel comes off the car.
We also saw Kyle Busch put on some nice backwards driving after he hit the wall. Here's that.
Oh, he's spinning out.
Up into the wall goes Kyle Busch. And hard contact with the back of the car. The caution comes out with under 7 laps to go in the stage.
My goodness. The car had this issue of some sort he was trying to nurse, and you saw it live from the onboard camera of Brad Keselowski. The 8 just got in there and spun around.
Sucks for Kyle Busch. I felt like the round of 12 was going to be a good round for him, but this is not off to a good start. And with Talladega, I know he won there last time we were at this track, but he's got to be really careful there. And I don't know how he'll do at the Roval. So Kyle Busch is in a tough spot. We saw Truex Jr. He spun out. A lot of like good racing throughout the race. Second stage was really uneventful. First race, Tyler Reddick, he won the stage after staying out. Yeah. And then second stage, like I mentioned, was really uneventful. Kyle Larson ended up winning that stage. But going into the last stage, I felt like that it was a 3-car battle between Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and Bubba Wallace to win the race, even though obviously those guys did not win the race, which we'll get into. But what happened with Kyle Larson That was really surprising. Big plot twist in the race. We haven't seen what happened. Here it is.
He's going to have to stay aggressive, stay tight on the door of this 5.
Oh, around goes the 5.
Loose under you, keep coming.
He slides it into the wall. He goes. The caution comes out.
Just get it rolling. Just get it rolling. You're fine.
No air on the 5 as he was going through turn 1, and around he went.
Wallace had to lift quite a bit to not get taken away in that wreck with the 5.
So basically, as you can see, he was racing with Bubba Wallace for position. It was a good battle. And it looked really similar to what happened with Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney at Michigan earlier in the season. I'm not faulting either driver. They're both trying to race hard. Obviously, I felt like Bubba has a little more to lose because he doesn't have as much of a cushion as Larson. So I could see why he was racing hard. But you could see there was no contact, and I don't think there was any ill will. But just really sucks for Kyle Larson. I felt like he had the more dominant car throughout the race, and it really sucked to see him getting taken out. But going into the finish, I felt like it was a pretty good battle with William Byron. I believe Chase Briscoe was also up there, and Chastain really came up toward the end. I didn't really see him throughout most of the day, and he came back. I think he finished 3rd. Bell too looked really good toward the end of the race, and he shot up, I believe, for a top 5. And Wallace fell off a little bit at the end. He had an interesting car. He had moments where he was fast and he was leading. I think he led like 100-something laps, and then he just would fall off, and then he'd come back, lead more laps. But he really fell off toward the end of the stage, and then William Byron secured the deal. He made a good move and eventually got himself in the win. So congrats to Byron. Pretty good way to start the round of 12, and he's got a good cushion as he's obviously locked in. And the next round of 8, I feel like he has a great chance of potentially even sweeping the round. Who knows?
I wouldn't say that, but I will say, Texas, they had a lot of wrecks in last year's race, and it was just super long. This one, I was surprised it was shorter because there was a good bit of wrecks in this race too. It wasn't a clean race. I mean, we saw Blaney wreck, we saw AJ wreck, Ty Gibbs also, a bunch of other guys. JJ Elliott, I believe, was another guy that wrecked. So there was multiple cars that got into trouble, and playoff drivers too. So. Reddick, he was really strong early, as you mentioned. He led 36 laps. He was really strong, and he ended up finishing 25th, so not a great performance for him. Some guys, I picked Byron to win the race, if you remember, but my dumb self didn't put him on the fantasy team. So, that's the L of the week, but a W and an L at the same time. But a couple of drivers I'd like to say that put on a really good performance. I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's been really consistent lately. He's been running really well on the Mile and a Half tracks, as we've noted on past episodes. He's been getting top 10. Chase Briscoe as well. Briscoe's really good at tracks like Charlotte and Texas and Atlanta. And then Justin Haley was another driver. He ended up finishing 13th. I saw Michael McDowell was up in the top 10 at several points throughout the race. But Bubba Wallace, he ran really well, and I was really happy to see him get a top 5. Even though I'm not a Bubba Wallace fan, I want to see him do well, even though I'm not a fan of him. But that's the first time I've seen him lead. He led the most laps in a race in over a year. He led 111. He was. There was some people that I believe in his interview. If I'm correct, he said he was a little disappointed. He has nothing to be disappointed about. He ran the best he could, and he got valuable points for the next round. Now Kyle Busch, on the other hand, these are tough tracks for him in this round because Talladega, even though he won there earlier in the spring, as you mentioned, he wrecks all the time in Talladega, and he always gets wrecked out in the fall races. So will he survive? I don't think. I don't think his car would survive. I think that he definitely probably get caught up in a wreck. But if not, cool for him. I think that he just needs to play it safe, as you mentioned, at Talladega, Charlotte. He's not the greatest Roval driver. I mean, he runs better at Watkins Glen and Sonoma, but we'll see what happens. If I were to give the race a 1 out of 10 rating, I'd probably give it a 7.
A couple other drivers that really impressed me were Daniel Suarez. He came in 8th, and
Yeah.
Carson Host. He finished up in 16th, but he was running in the top 10 at a few points of the race. I'd just like to say really quick, I remember myself saying that Carson Hocevar should not be in the Cup Series, and if he does go in the Cup Series, he will be washed, or not washed, but rushed, and he will become a bust. I would like to sincerely apologize. I'd like a Carson Hocevar apology form, please, because that kid can drive. He's competing up there with a lot of top tier drivers, and he's already outperforming Noah Gragson, who has much more experience in Cup and Xfinity cars.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Carson Hocevar get a Cup ride now. I'm definitely a big advocate for it after seeing him run some races. But taking a look at what you guys had to say. Oh, my race rating, I'd also have to give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely. Great race, or a pretty good race. Taking a look at what you guys had to say. 0% said great, 50% said good, 50% said meh/okay. Nobody said bad, no thoughts.
Wow.
No driver day. I will give it to... It's between Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson. I feel like Kyle had a little bit of a better car, but Bubba Wallace led the most laps. So I think I might give it to Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
And taking a look at the Xfinity race, what did you think?
Another accurate pick by me. John Hunter Nemechek winning the Xfinity race. I swept the weekend on picks. Surprisingly, it's like the first time in a long time that's happened. But honestly, I thought it was okay. The race named Andy's Frozen Custard 300. I did not know that was going to happen. But John, 7th win of the season. He's looking like the title favorite. I've been saying this for months now. Other than Hill, he looks like the only one that can win the championship, I feel. But Allgaier, he's been really strong lately too, and he's ran well. He won at Bristol. He led 133 laps at Atlanta, or not Atlanta, Texas. So don't count them out either. He's starting to get, he's starting to be really consistent. That's what you need to be to win championships. But now, even though with this format, anything could happen. I'm just saying, if this was like normal points, like Busch Series points, it's either Nemechek or Allgaier, obviously them two. But there's other people in the picture because of the playoffs. But honestly, I thought it was all right. I mean, there was a good bit of wrecks in this race too. If you haven't seen some of them, here they are. Sam Mayer, he took a big hit.
I was very interested to see how the first time through the top. Oh, you see it.
Mayer's into the wall.
Yes, no grip in the outside lane. We saw this in qualifying. A couple cars have spun out. No grip for the one car, straight into the fence off turn 2.
Slow. They stay green. As we see cars going around him, he's trying to get to the bottom so he can get to pit road, but he hit the wall hard.
In the points, 38th position was where he finished, so not good for him. And then Riley Herbst as well. But what did you think about this race?
I thought it was a really solid race. Again, with Texas, I'm surprised that did they actually get the package right for Texas? Because it's actually good again, from what it sounds like. Let's see. I mean, Sam Mayer, like you mentioned, he wrecked out on lap 1. They almost didn't call the yellow, and then Riley Herbst had a similar incident because there wasn't enough grip on the outside lane. Trying to think. This might be out of order. I'm just trying to think of the wrecks. We saw Jeffrey Earnhardt. He had a couple of incidents. He hit the wall, and then the second time he hit the wall, it actually destroyed his entire right front.
Got another car on the wall on the back straightaway. I think it's a 45.
Yeah, really slow. Looks like
Caution's out now. That was a really hard contact for Jeffrey Earnhardt. The turn 2 wall strikes again. Look at the damage, big damage.
yeah, you're done. He's going to nurse that all the way back.
Second incident today. Oh, that's a drive shaft. Wow. So that it hooks to the rear end and then goes up to the transmission. And for that thing to be ripped out of the car, Steve, that is a big impact to move the rear end over far enough to actually break that drive shaft. And that is a scary situation for a driver. because that drive shaft spinning so many RPMs and it's right next to your right leg.
Just up the racetrack, out of the groove. Wow.
That really sucked. Let's see. Brendan Poole, he got dumped by Ryan Sieg. Here is that.
But early in this run, the bottom's going to be where you
we got a spin on the front straightaway, the 6.
He's going to hit the inside wall hard.
Contact.
Hard into the inside pit wall.
Brendan Poole somehow gets turned around on the front straightaway.
Car's killed, guys.
I'm glad he said I'm all right. Woodlands, Texas native.
See the 35 car as well sitting right there, just Joey Gase. Does he get loose here? We get some help from behind. Yeah, down the front straightaway, he just comes across the nose of the 39 car.
Now he's in the grass, and the car just does not slow down in the grass the way it does on the asphalt. And unfortunately, it turns head onto the wall, but thank goodness no people were sitting on that pit wall or near that pit wall.
And he took a hard hit to the pit wall. As you could see, the inside pit wall really sucks for Brendan Poole. What else? Trying to think. Oh yeah, there was a big wreck involving some bigger names in the Xfinity Series. We saw Trevor Bayne, Austin Hill, and Josh Berry get into a wreck. Here is that.
Take the lead
Bayne
again.
goes around.
Josh Berry goes around. So does Trevor Bayne. There's contact made with a 21 of Austin Hill. Another playoff driver involved.
Did you see the 48 thread the needle between the two spinning cars?
And to me, that wreck looked like Bayne got loose, and then he just ended up going into Berry. No intent, really sucks. But Austin Hill impressed me. He got some damage in that wreck, as you could see in the final laps. He had some damage, and then he came back in order to finish 7th, but he was 2nd in the final restart of the race. And then talking about the last couple of laps, that was some really interesting racing. Probably some of the best I've seen at Texas, as long as I've been a fan, that is. We saw quite a few cars, like Parker Kligerman. He looked like he was about to get in the win. We saw Nemechek and we saw Allgaier. Allgaier won both stages. Like you mentioned, he led about 130 laps or so.
Down the back straightaway, right behind him, Nemechek now clear into 3rd place.
Lines up the racetrack.
Here comes Nemechek.
Back down to the bottom. He blocks Nemechek.
27, Hank.
And way up the racetrack with the 7 of Allgaier. Maybe got some contact with the wall. The fight for the lead. Nemechek on the inside. Kligerman falls back to 2nd.
That was really exciting. I couldn't tell who was going to win. We saw Allgaier. He passed Hill. I probably put the video on the screen, as you can see, so I don't know why I'm commentating it, but yeah, Parker Kligerman, he just did not have an answer for John Hunter Nemechek, which really sucked. I think he got loose or something tight on one of the corners. Something happened to him, and then he just ended up slowing down. Could not catch Nemechek. 7th win of the season for JHN, like you mentioned. Definitely my title favorite. I just don't see anybody stopping him. He's good at all sorts of tracks. So overall, I'd give the Xfinity race probably an 8 out of 10. I think they have some of the best racing in NASCAR as of right now.
I wouldn't say that, but I do agree with some of your points. Xfinity race, what do you give 1 out of 10? I give it like a 4.
Interesting. Taking a look at what you guys had to say, 0% said great. 50% said good, 50% said mess/okay. Nobody said bad. No thoughts. No driver of the day. I will mention Justin Allgaier was a little upset with Parker Kligerman at the end of the race, because if you did see in the video, Kligerman got him loose, which again, I that was no intent. I didn't see any contact being made. I just saw it as Kligerman's racing hard, got the draft, and then Allgaier just ended up getting the air taken off a little bit and just couldn't hold it straight and just went into the wall. I don't see any problem with what Parker Kligerman did, and Allgaier was complaining a little bit on it, but
imagine getting loose and then blaming another person.
Right. I don't get it, but my driver of the day, I think, is between Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill, and I think this time I'm going to give it to Allgaier.
Cole Custer led 28 laps. He finished sixth. I'm going to give him driver today. To be honest with you, I'm going to have to probably go with Justin.
Trying to look at some notables really quick. Not real. Brett Moffitt. I don't know why I said Brennan Gaughan. Brett Moffitt got top 10. He finished 10th. And the Sieg brothers finished 11th and 12th, respectfully. Ryan Ellis came in 13th, and Anthony Alfredo came in 14th. Kyle Weatherman, 15th. Wow. Parker Chase, I don't know who that is, but he got a top 20, 16th. But I guess now taking a look at the standings for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series, with them going into, they were in the playoffs. Considering we missed the end of the round of 16, I would just like to mention that I'm very salty that Logano got taken out of the playoffs. They looked like complete crap at Bristol all throughout the race, and I'm very disappointed that there were other teams that looked ready, but the 22 team and the 4 team were not ready to race for a championship. Like, come on.
Gosh.
Even Michael McDowell. I'm sorry, but Michael McDowell's team got the 34 car to be prepared, and they weren't even going to make the race, or they weren't even going to make.
They were more consistent than Joe Logano was, if we're being honest.
More consistently in the top 5. They looked like they were ready to fight for a spot. The 47 team looked ready to fight for a spot. 22 and the 4 teams have been in similar situations, and they should have. I don't know. It's just frustrating. I don't want to complain too much because it was a week ago, but yeah.
About a week ago. Cringe. Taking a
look at the playoff standings right now, William Byron is obviously first with the win. Denny Hamlin is second. Chris Buescher is third. Christopher Bell in fourth. Truex fifth. Chastain is sixth. Keselowski in seventh. And Larson is eighth, 2 points above the cut line. And then on the block to be eliminated right now, Bubba Wallace -2, Tyler Reddick -3, Ryan Blaney -11, and then Kyle Busch -17. Again, Kyle Busch has a big hole to fill, I feel like, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do it at these next few tracks, but he could. We'll see. I just think that he needed a really good run at Texas since he's always strong there, and then he just got unlucky. Yeah. For the Xfinity Series, John Hunter Nemechek in first, Justin Allgaier is in second, Cole Custer is third, Austin Hill is fourth, Chandler Smith is fifth, Sammy Smith is sixth, Sheldon Creed is seventh, and Daniel Hemrick is eighth. And then on the cut line, Parker Kligerman, he's -1 with Daniel Hemrick being +1. Jeb Burton, he blew his engine. He's -19. Josh Berry is in 11th, -27, and Sam Mayer is 12th, -34. So these next few races for the Xfinity Series, I think their next race is the Roval, if I'm not mistaken, because they're off this weekend. So those guys I feel like those guys will be in somewhat of a hole. Mayer might have a good day because he's pretty strong on road courses. Berry might have a solid day, and then I don't really see Jeb Burton. I think Jeb Burton's out, but I think Parker Kligerman will have a good day as well.
Jeb Burton's really good at Talladega, but unless he, say for instance, he doesn't win at Talladega.
They're not racing at Talladega.
Out. Oh yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, I forgot. They're only racing Cup and Trucks. I'm going to the race, and I literally said that. Okay. Anyways, Burton, I don't see him advancing. If they were racing at Talladega, then maybe he would have had a shot. That's what I should say.
Right. Next race, which is the cutoff for the round of 12 in the Xfinity Series, is the Roval. So it'll be interesting to see the 2 JRM cars versus Parker Kligerman. I think that Jeb Burton's out. I guess now we could talk about Clown of the Week. We have a few mentions here.
Well, the first one we need to mention, this one's a little bit under the radar, but this one is they were having a late model event at Martinsville Speedway. I don't know every single thing about it, but I do know it was broadcast on Flow. I'm pretty sure Flow Racing, and during one of the qualifying heat races, 2 of the crews went at it, and during the fight, they ended up damaging another car of a crew that just had nothing to do with it. It's just
rather have that work to do because you qualified to race in the feature than to have to fix that up at the top. There's a big time fight here in the infield.
Extracurricular activities as drivers and teams not happy with one another. This is sometimes, emotions run high. We get excited in racing. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get these cars prepared. You travel a long ways to be at the racetrack, and sometimes you're just not happy as the things take place on the racetrack. You may have a discussion, and sometimes, well, that may escalate just a little bit.
Absolutely stupid. Grown men acting like children. You're not going to get paid anyways because it's a qualifying heat race. It's not even that big of a deal. I mean, you have to advance to what, a B main or a feature? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Grown men acting like children. That's all you can really caption that one.
And the fight started because I think I put both videos on the screen, but basically the car in the black, I think it's like 82 or 92. I don't know what number it was. It was just a black car. He wheel hopped one of the cars and then he ended up taking him out for no reason. I don't know why, but it was his fault. He went up, wheel hopped it, and then just wrecked him for no reason. So that's just idiotic driving right there.
Well, wheel hopping happens in racing and it's Martinsville, so I'm not really surprised, but still,
right. I'm just saying, we've been seeing a lot of these like late model fights. I think that's like the second one or third one I've seen this season.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt track fights every year. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, another thing, I know this is off topic to NASCAR, but I've been seeing a lot of NFL fan fights too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that one fan died.
I saw the Patriots fan.
Mm.
But
well, I guess moving on to the next clown, we got two involving a similar situation. But the first one is one, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I will say their account. They are a Tyler Reddick fan, and they were celebrating the death of Sherry Pollux on Instagram. They were posting about it. They were on their story posting about it, celebrating and mocking the death of Sherry Pollux. And that's just absolutely idiotic. And they didn't care. They didn't apologize either. I'm very disappointed in that person, and I'm glad that I don't associate with them anymore. I used to talk with them, but like, come on, do better. Yeah. Like, how stupid can you be?
Yeah, I know exactly which person you're talking about, and I saw some of what he posted. I don't think I follow him. I don't remember, but I did see him on Toxic NASCAR Fans. Shout out to that guy. Go follow him.
I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw he posted one picture with the message and then the picture of Martin Truex celebrating, why? I mean, I know they broke up, but why? I don't know if Martin Truex has any ill will toward Sherry Pollux, but I don't even know why you would post that.
Well, there was more. He posted more than that. He posted like on Twitter too, talking about how he was very happy she died and stuff. Like, it was bad, dude. It was bad. It wasn't more than one post. It was more than one post. It was like 3 or 4 different ones, and he didn't care. Like, he literally just. And then also I'd seen him in other chats being racist. So of course, like, people just don't know how to. They don't think before they speak, and they're just, I don't know. I feel, I'm saddened, obviously, but at the same time, like, I don't feel bad for them at the same time, because you know what you're doing at the end of the day. Like, it's ridiculous.
I hope he's watching this, because if you are, dude, you're a scumbag. Honestly, you need some mental help ASAP.
Yeah, well, I agree with the second half.
But yeah, I mean, he is a scumbag. If you're making fun of someone's.
My thing is, I don't like to say words like that, but you can if you want.
Oh, I will always say words like that, Christian. But yeah, if you're making fun of somebody's death like that, especially somebody that hasn't really done anything wrong in the community and has tried to help people, especially with people fighting through cancer, that's ridiculous. Cherry Pollux didn't really do anything to anybody in the NASCAR community. I saw her be friendly with most people in the community, and you shouldn't make fun of anybody, period, for because
Exactly.
of that, period. That's ridiculous. But
And then, yeah, the last one.
I was gonna say my clown was Danica Patrick because Martin Truex Jr. posted what looked to be a PR statement about Sherry Pollux's death. And Danica Patrick, I guess, took offense to it for some reason. Here's what Danica Patrick said, basically saying Martin is a jerk and that she's never liked Martin. My thing is with it is that, do I agree a PR statement it was the smartest thing to post? No. But the thing is, Martin Truex Jr. doesn't really use social media. And I'm sure a lot of other drivers don't really use social media. The only real ones I could see using social media are like Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, just as an example. So
Yeah.
Truex doesn't really use social media. He's a very private person from what it seems like. And that's probably the best way for him to at least explain it. You don't know what the guy is going through. Danica could be right, yes, that Martin Truex is a jerk because she's been associated with Martin Truex because they've been in the garage area together. So she could be right. And I'm not a big fan of Martin Truex. I just want to point it out. But I think that it's ridiculous to point it out when we're all going through a sad situation. We're all spreading love and positivity toward Sherry Pollux's family, prayers, whatever you want to do. And then you have Danica Patrick trying to stay somewhat relevant in the NASCAR community when this is why fans don't like her in the first place. Always has had this holier than thou attitude, like she's always right. And she sucks. I mean, she couldn't drive. I remember her complaining at fans because she wouldn't sign autographs. Like she was whining like it was the end of the world. But I've also seen her be rude to several fans. I personally witnessed it. Being in the hot pass, there's a video of her signing for a fan. Here is that. And she was just rude. So I just think it was the wrong time to call Truex out. Like, whether or not you hate Truex, you shouldn't be putting him down because you don't know what he's going through at that very moment.
Exactly. Danica's had a history. She opens her mouth too much. She doesn't know when to close it, and she just says whatever she wants. And I mean, yes, you don't. And another thing, you don't have to post everything on social media, and she does. And she has a podcast or whoever. I don't know who would watch that, but
It's like, isn't it like a bettering yourself podcast? Like she hires she has on there or whatever.
She's very selfish. I hope she changes. She has a change. But yeah, there's just been a lot of negativity around her, and she's been a very negative person for years. But I hope she changes. I hope, with a lot of people that do stuff like this, I hope they have a change in their life. But, we'll see. She also got fired by Sky Sports as well. And
it was a great move.
What happened, which is, I mean, what was she even doing on there anyways? But I will say, I actually don't have anything else to say, Mike. I have nothing else to explain to the people about this. They should know that, like, the reasons,
I think we both summed it up pretty well. And yeah, I don't know what Danica was doing on Sky Sports. She has no association with F1 whatsoever. It would have made more sense for her to broadcast IndyCar, but I guess F1 needed to get female ratings because I don't think male drivers, now that I'm thinking about it.
F1 is literally trying to find some way to make it interesting. But anyways, that's another topic.
I would flame you for if they heard that. But
oh wow.
I guess going into picks this weekend for Talladega.
Oh my.
There's truck and cup. For the truck race, I am gonna say Christian Eckes is gonna win. I think he's gonna go 2 in a row.
Well, I'm hoping the weather's good. I'm actually going to stay the weekend in Alabama this year again, the first time in 2 years. I'm hoping the truck race will be decent. I'm gonna say I was thinking Eckes as well. So I'm actually going to go with him as well. You kind of stole my pick there, but then again, you thought of it before I did. But I could see Eckes winning. So I think there's probably at least 2 wrecks, and then yeah.
I'm going to say we see 5 wrecks, but no flip, and then a big one toward the end of the race.
All right, then Cup.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a solid race. I hope they don't change the package too much because obviously with that huge flip with Ryan Preece earlier with Daytona, I don't know how I'm going to feel if they change the package because they've already messed it up a little bit. So I hope they don't touch it much. But this race, I feel like it's going to be an interesting race. I feel like we're going to see a lot of battling, and with some drivers like Bubba Wallace, for example, on the cutoff, I think he's going to be a little bit aggressive and he's going to try to push his way forward. I think he'll have a very solid race, and I could see him getting a top 5. I'm going to say Ryan Blaney wins the race.
As I said in the predictions video, I think it's going to be a non-playoff driver. I think there's going to be a couple wrecks, but I'm going to say non-playoff driver AJ. AJ's going to win.
AJ, interesting pick. But anyways, that's going to close out this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See ya.
Calling out, you only calling out. You wanted what I think. All these women lie.